Hey you guys, it's me Crystal, and today we're going to talk about all the goals. So today I wanted to do more of a comprehensive goals video. So instead of just doing my fourth quarter goals for this year and then doing my first quarter goals for next year, I thought I'd also do my yearly goals. So a yearly wrap up for 2020 and also talk about my goals for 2021. So first we're going to wrap up my fourth quarter goals, which of course covers October, November, and December. And the first goal I had for this last stretch of the year was to meet my 2020 reading goal. And I think I said I had like 9 or 10 books left, so I just put 10 books down as the goal. And so not only did I read 10 books in this last quarter of the year, I also met my 2020 goal to read 53 books, and I've also exceeded it just a little bit. So my second goal for this last quarter was to finish organizing my house. When I was filming the last video, it was a few days before the end of September, and I still had a bunch of stuff on my dining table that needed to be organized and filed away or whatever. And I'm happy to report I did this. I actually did this the very last day of September, and so I actually went into this quarter with this goal already done. And then my third goal for this year was to use what I'm calling the art room, because I have my easel set up in there, and I wasn't super specific about what exactly to do in this room. I guess I was like, oh, I'll just play it by ear and I'll just do whatever. And so my intention was to like go in there and like paint or like do some ballet or some yoga or whatever, but I am happy to report I did do this. So not only did I do some reading in there, which kind of counts as using the room, I also did go in here and finally do some yoga. So my fourth goal for this last stretch of the year was to have a no-spend October. I did not do this. I didn't do this because I didn't care. And I'm kind of like, note to Crystal, like, 1, have more specific goals, and 2, have goals you care about. So in October, I was trying to, I guess I was like being a little like judgmental or something against myself, and I kind of felt like I didn't really save that much money in like August and September, and I guess I was coming down on myself about it instead of just saying like, sometimes, you know, I want to save a lot of money and sometimes I just don't. And I was going through a period of time where I just didn't want to, and I'm like, that's totally fine. And I guess I was trying to like force myself to save money, and so I thought if I had a no spend month, I could like force it on myself, but I didn't really want to have a no spend month. And so yeah, I gave up on this almost immediately. So I met 3 out of the 4 goals that I had, and so I think that's pretty good. And so passing grade. So let's talk about my 2020 goals and how I did, which I guess, surprise, surprise, I did not do well. And also that's okay, it's okay, but let's talk about it. So I had 10 goals for 2020, which honestly was way too much. The way I structure my goals is I usually have my yearly goals, and then I break those down into quarterly goals, and then I break those down into monthly goals so that I make sure I'm doing something every month to reach my macro goals or my yearly goals. And this has been working really well for me. Well, this year, for some reason, I got a little arrogant or something, and I decided I was just gonna put a bunch of stuff on there. And yeah, that was not a good idea, because not only is it really difficult for me to break down that many goals every single month, every month, I also like didn't want to do all these goals after a while, and it just became like exhausting, and I'm like, I have other stuff to do, and I just don't care anymore. So, but that said, I did meet 4 out of the 10 goals, and I almost met, I want to say 2 or 3 more. So I think that's pretty good given the kind of year that this was. And so I'm not going to tell myself that I failed. It's just like, I learned some things this year, and I've learned to be kinder to myself. So first I'm going to talk about the goals I did meet. And the first goal I had was to read 53 books. And yes, I met my reading goal. I've read 53 plus books. My second goal for the year was to meet tier 2 of my car fund. And so basically I have been saving up to buy another car, and then tier 1 was to save up enough money to buy a car, and then tier 2 was to save up enough money to buy a car like my current car, and tier 3 is to buy the car that I want. So this year was to meet tier 2, and yes, I did do this. So my third goal for this year was to study Spanish, and I changed this about a month into French because I was not having a good time, and I was talking to my mom about it, and I kind of left that conversation feeling like, why am I torturing myself? So I switched to French to see if it was better, if it was working better for me, and it was. And so I had like this workbook that I went through, and so I finished the workbook, and then I moved on to Duolingo, and I did do this most of the year. I took a break for a couple of months, and then I picked it back up again because like I was just getting sick of it, and it was starting to feel like homework, and it's like, no. So I did do this because just because I started off with Spanish as a goal and then I switched to French, like goals should be flexible. And so I changed it when it wasn't working for me, and then the French worked so much better. So this is, a success. It's a success because I did it, but it's also a success because I wasn't being inflexible about it. So my fourth goal and the last goal that I met this year was to take 5 masterclasses. And so I had a subscription to masterclass this year, and I wanted to use it and, get a lot of use out of it. And so I did do this. I think I took somewhere between like 10 and 13 masterclasses. So now on to the goals I did not meet. And the first goal was to write and edit 1 book. And normally on like a really super productive year where I'm feeling just amazing all year long, this would be a super easy goal to make. And so normally I would have to make this goal more challenging by saying, to write 2 books or maybe even 3 books. But I burnt myself out pretty bad 2 years in a row, and then I just haven't recovered. And so I thought I would take it easy on myself by only writing and editing 1 book. And then it became quickly very apparent that I still need to take a break. And so I am now currently in a non-writing season, and that is fine. Maybe it'll only last another year or 2. Maybe it'll last forever. I don't care. And not all writing, just, book writing. So the next goal I didn't meet was to work on my hobbies, and this falls into the category of I need to be specific because I have a lot of hobbies. And I guess when I made this goal, I was like, I'll just play it by ear and see what I feel like doing. Well, no, that's not going to work because I ended up, just doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I feel like I spent, even though I did some painting and stuff and some drawing at the beginning of the year, I feel like I spent most of the year not working on my hobbies at all. And I did pick up songwriting like literally November 30th. And I've only been doing that like just a little bit. And so I don't think working on my hobbies like 3 or 4 months of the year counts as this goal being met, because my intention was for this to be like a regular thing and for me to be regularly, engaging in some other creative activity besides just writing, and specifically just writing books. So yeah. So the next goal I didn't meet was to build a regular yoga habit. And so a few years ago, I was doing yoga pretty regularly, and I thought it really helped me like with stress management, which, we could always use some more stress management. And so I've been wanting to pick it back up again, but I guess, again, I should have treated this goal like I normally treat my goals, which is break down how I was actually going to do this, because I haven't done yoga regularly with any kind of consistency in years. And so it's like, I'm not just going to just pick it back up and start doing it again just because I want to. And also I think it has something to do with the kind of yoga that I was doing. So like back when I was the most consistent when doing yoga, I was doing Kundalini yoga. And like earlier this year, I tried to like do like some vinyasa flow yoga, and I really enjoyed doing that, but I guess it's not, giving me like those stress relieving benefits that I was getting from Kundalini yoga. And so I did do it kind of inconsistently the first few months of the year. But yeah, I just wasn't like excited about it, and I didn't look forward to it. And so I need something that I would look forward to, because I really need that time to like stretch and move and breathe, because yeah. The next goal I didn't meet was to buy less books. And so I wanted to buy no more than 26 books, which is around half the number or so of the total books I planned on reading for this year. And I gave up on this goal pretty early as well, because this falls under a couple of different categories. 1, a goal I actually want to do. And 2, I felt like I was trying to control myself, or I was kind of like, I felt like I was trying to force myself to like buy less books because I thought I was being like excessive or something. And to be honest, like if I'm excessive in buying books 1 or 2 years, like that's totally fine. My biggest concern is that I don't spend money that I don't have, and I have not spent money that I don't have. And so I can buy as many books as I want as long as I have money and space for them. So going forward, I'm going to try not to do any goals that I feel like I should be doing and do goals that I actually want to accomplish, and that will make me happy and feel good. So the next goal I didn't meet was to stick to my budget. And the problem with this goal is that it's kind of a redundant goal. So I wanted to save so much money into my car fund goal so that I can reach tier 2 of my car fund goal. Is that if I stuck to my budget, then that would happen like pretty easily. And so it's like, I didn't need to have this goal, because what I meant by this goal was to save money, and I did save money. And so it's like, why was this here, you know? And the last goal that I didn't meet was to query 2 books. And so again, if you have seen any of the videos where I talked about writing, then you probably know, but if you don't, I used to write books and then send them out to agents, and then I kind of got like burnt out from that. And so I wanted to take a break, but I still wanted to write, and I still wanted to like try to get my books out there. So I decided to try self-publishing for a few years, and then that ended up being a big stress bomb that was just going off everywhere. And I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. And so I stopped doing that. And then I was like, well, should I try querying again? And I didn't know if I wanted to or not. And so since I have a ton of books to choose from, I'm like, I can just pick a couple and send them out and like just get used to doing that again and see if I want to get back on that path or not. And obviously I don't, at least not right now, because I only queried 1 book. And then I tried to talk myself into doing the second one because I like that story and I love that story and it's polished, but I just like couldn't drum up the excitement or the energy for it. And again, this is tied into the fact that I'm just kind of burnt out with writing in general, and I just don't want to do anything like writing novel related. So overall, I think I did pretty good considering the kind of year I had and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna be really nice to Crystal and tell her that she did a good job. So now moving on to my 2021 goals. So before I get into my first quarter goals, which will of course cover January, February, and March, let's talk about the goals that I have for 2021. So I learned from 2020 and making way too many goals. And so for 2021, I have 5 goals. And 2 of them have deadlines by the end of the first quarter. And so therefore, the rest of the year, I should only have 3 goals to work on. So my first goal for 2021 is to read 53 books. I picked 53 again because I feel like that's a really good number for me, and I could pretty easily reach that and probably exceed it. And if I exceed the goal, then I'll feel really good about myself. So my second goal is to reach tier 3 of my car fund. And then I don't know if it'll be enough to buy my dream car, but it will be enough, I think, to buy a car that I really want to have. So we'll see. So my third goal is to write a musical, and I feel like I've been wanting to do this for a few years, and I just feel really excited about it, and I feel like super pumped about it, and yeah. So my fourth goal for 2021 is to learn the Queen of the Night aria from the Magic Flute Opera, and I think the song is in German, and it's like not an easy song to sing, plus it's in a different language, and so I want to try and learn it because I'm not going to try to hit all those high notes. If you've heard the song, then you know. There's like a lot of high notes in the song, like really, really high notes. And I'm not going to try to hit those notes. I'm just going to try to learn the words to the song because it'll be a lot easier, I think, for me to hit those notes and like gradually build up to those notes if I know the song. And I just think it will be fun, but we'll see. And then my fifth and final goal for 2021 is to build that regular yoga habit, but this time I have a plan. So the last 2 goals are the goals that have time limits, and so I want to have met them both by the end of March. And that is, of course, learning the aria and building the regular yoga habit. Because I feel like if I concentrate on building up that habit, then I should have it built by March 31st. And then I can just kind of go on autopilot the rest of the year. And then with the aria, I don't want to keep working on that song past a few months because I think I'll just get really, really sick of it. And if it's not going well and it's not happening, then I don't want to keep torturing myself. And also, if for some reason I lose interest, then I don't want to have this goal hanging on me for the rest of the year. So I'm going to consider this goal completed as long as I try. So my first quarter goals for 2021 are to read 15 books, and this is just kind of an arbitrary number. If I read an average of about 4 or 5 books a month, then I should pretty easily meet my reading goal. And so if I read 15 books in this first quarter, then I should be a little bit ahead of my reading goal, which will make me feel really good about myself. And then the second goal is to work on the musical. And I do have this broken down into which steps I need to do each month so that this is not an overwhelming goal, because this is for fun. Like, I want to write a musical for fun because I think it will be fun. But if I just tell myself to write a musical, then it's like, oh my gosh, I feel overwhelmed. Where do I start? So I've also already started. But, you know, it takes you, like, you have to settle on an idea and you have to, like, start working out a plot. And so I'm doing that now so that in January, I won't feel like I'm starting from scratch, you know? And also, why wait till next year to start working on your goals when I can start right now? So the third goal, of course, is start working on that yoga habit. And I do have this broken down into how many days a week I want to start with and how many days a week I want to end with or whatever. So, and also how much time I want to invest into it, because if I'm like, you have to do an hour and a half of yoga, that's just not going to happen. So maybe one day, or maybe, you know, I'll be perfectly happy with 30 minutes, but I gotta start somewhere, so. And the fourth goal, of course, is to practice this aria. And then I have this broken down into how many days a week I want to work on it and for how long I want to work on it every week. And then my last goal for the first quarter is to stick to my budget, which at this point, yes, I know it just means save money. So I just want to make sure every single month that I'm saving money towards this car goal, because yes, I'm excited, you know, to like get up to this next tier or whatever. So yes, so that is all the goals, the wrap-ups, the new goals, and everything else. So can let me know, do you make goals? Are you excited about your goals? Do you make yearly goals or quarterly goals or bi-monthly goals or monthly goals or whatever? I get really, really excited about new goals, you know, because I just feel like the end of the year, it's like a good time to like reflect, and it's like, what do I want to change? What do I want to do different? And then I feel like all this baggage for the year, I can just like leave it at the gate of 2020 and the universe will just swallow it, and then I can just go baggage free into 2021. I just get like super excited for some reason. So, and also I'm really happy that I'm not overwhelming myself. So that is all for this video. It's also the last video of the year. So I will see you guys next year, and happy new year and happy 2021. And I'm super excited, and yeah, see you next year.